All ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Let me blow my strength into your body. People see your deeds. God sees your heart. Because he woke your tail up this morning, and as long as you got a pulse, God's got a plan. He's waiting on you to get out of your feelings and get into some healing. Limitless Nation, and all of you that are tuning in from all over the world, even the replay people, oh my gosh, even you that are watching it a year later, we are so excited that you're here with us. We are doing Unfiltered here on Wednesday nights at Limitless Church, and basically what we're doing is every Wednesday we're coming together and we're bringing people in from our own church family. And as you've seen all month, it's been off the chain, talking about a series that we're doing here on Sundays called If Only I ... So that could be this series we've been talking about. We've been talking about if only I would have listened to my mom and dad and not married this person, or if only I would have just shut my big mouth and gotten healed early on. If only I... And so we're taking your if only eyes and we're shifting it into hope. There's a reason why we've all gone through what we've gone through, even when we were bad. You know, God has turned the bad into good. And so we welcome you. If you're ever in Atlanta, we would invite you to come spend Sundays with us, 10 and 11:30, right up in Limitless Church, across from Whitewater High School in Fayetteville, Georgia. You're welcome, and you can sit by any of us and be a part of our family anytime. So I have the incredible honor of having this week my very own assistant, Valerie Knight. Y'all going to give her some emojis. Y'all give her some. She puts up with me. She runs my world, and she is awesome at it. And I'm so thankful for you. So this is Valerie. And then I have the most beautiful Shaniko. She is the game changer. Yeah! That's my claps. And just so thankful that you both said yes. So how are we going to start this? We're going to start this. I'm glad you asked. We're going to start this by... Tell us a little bit about Valerie, because Valerie, you tell me some stories about you that I'm like, no, not my Valerie. So tell me a little bit about Valerie. Set it up.
Okay, so I'm Valerie. Also, I managed a dental office for, over 10 years. That's where I started in the dental offices, but I was such a...
Are you a single mama?
Oh, I am a single mom.
Yeah, I want you to set it up.
Okay, I'm a single mom with 3 kids.
And you're a phenomenal mom.
Thank you.
And your kids are all incredible.
I love them so much. I have my oldest son is in the Marines. My middle one works for the airport, and I have a daughter in college.
And she still gets along great with her exes.
I do. I do have a relationship with both exes, not just one, too. And when I was married to the second one, we all spent Thanksgiving and holidays together, so that was really cool.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so we're going to come back to the story. Now, Shaniko, tell me about you. Put that mic up your mouth.
I am Shaniko. I am just a believer that have kind of struggled with my gifts always. But I'm a mom. I have a daughter and a son. My daughter's in the military, and then my son, he works a job. And I was married for 17 years. I had a stroke, and during that process in 2013, my husband said, I can't do anything with this because I had to learn how to walk, talk, eat, everything over again.
Can y'all hear her good? Because this is really good.
And so I became a single mother. After all of those years, my daughter was
So he left you while you were...
Yeah,
oh.
I was recovering.
Oh.
And so my daughter was a senior, and my son was just entering high school. It was a really difficult time. But my kids actually...
You were really young to have a stroke, too,
Yeah,
huh?
I was only 36.
Wow.
And so my kids actually helped me through my process.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to lean and depend on them a lot for a lot of different
And grieve.
things.
Grieve
Yeah,
the
I don't know
loss.
if I went through the grieving process during that time, though.
Really?
I think it was way later.
Really?
Yeah.
Just grieving the marriage was way
Yeah.
later.
But we're great friends now. We do things with the kids together, his wife
See,
and I.
let's talk about this. This right here is a whole, I am so stinking proud to know women that have made a choice, because you could be bitter.
Yeah.
You could be so angry. You could be walking through life, I mean, talking nasty, being angry at this situation, and instead you made a decision.
Yeah.
And y'all are all like friends.
Yeah, we are. We go bowling. We do things together all the time when the kids are wanting to get together.
Man, that's incredible. And so now, how old are you?
I am 43. I will be 44 next month.
Man, you in your 40s. Girl, it just gets better and better the older you get.
Yes, it does.
All right, so I want us to talk about on this episode of Unfiltered, I want us to talk about, for you, let's start with that moment, like what the Lord tells you to tell.
Well,
Because it still blows my mind.
my process has been crazy. It started, when I think back on it, I think from childhood. I was always compared to my younger sister. I'm the oldest, and she was always a skinny sister. So, when my relatives would come visit, it would be like, you sure put on a lot of weight. And it had gotten to the point where once I moved here, I would hardly ever go home. I probably would go home once a year, just so I didn't have to hear those comments. And what you're told as a kid, it plays over into your adult life. So that led me to I wasn't nice at all. I was really mean. I mean, I was like I would be called the B word. That's how mean I was.
So your kids saw that side of you?
My kids saw, well, they saw that side because during the marriage, during the second marriage, they saw that side, that side of me. So once the marriage ended, and I can remember taking my daughter to school, and she looked at me one day and she just said, "You know what, Mom? I'm glad you and Dad are not together because you were so mean." And I was, and the thing is, even with our marriage, we never argued in front of the kids. Like we never had an argument in front of the kids because, our issues were our issues, and we didn't want to get the kids to think that it had anything to do with them. But the crazy part is that they knew.
Man, Valerie, how many times do we do that, y'all?
Yep.
We think the kids don't know, and here they are knowing the whole time.
Yeah.
How did you do that as a mom when you were walking through just a really toxic relationship? How did you do it?
Yeah, I became toxic at work or people I encountered. So I just wasn't nice. So whatever was going on at home, I took it out at work. So I would be mean. I would say nice things. I would literally look for something to make someone upset.
Man.
To just ruin their day because I was so toxic myself and I was hurting. And, you always say hurt people. And it's maybe, 6 or 7 years ago, actually once I started coming to church here, I started to just God had started weighing on my heart, and I did not want to be that person anymore.
Oh.
So I just started to change, and I was in another dental office where I was managing almost 52 people, literally. When I got there, I was so stressed out. I didn't have time to be mean because it was such a transfer from going to managing 7 people to almost 52 people. So that's 52 different personalities. So that was a challenge. But later on in the years, I was there 5 years. So maybe 2 or 3 years in, I started to become soft. I prayed every day, God, soften my heart. God, soften my heart. Soften my heart.
Because you would go off easy.
I would go off easy. Then, I learned how to just like when
I can't even imagine the side of you for starters, y'all, because Valerie, when I tell you, she is the most peaceful, even-keeled, I mean, if I say I need some, she don't even come back with a but. She's just like, yes, ma'am. I mean, it's just, you're just such a pure soul. I can't even imagine you like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I got to the point where instead of confronting and someone comes at me, I just say, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so I became that okay person because that's the only way at that time that I can control my temper and deal with it. So I would just be okay, and then it's funny because then people started actually coming into my office and I started encouraging people,
Man.
and so that's then I started at putting encouraging posts, and then right up until I left when I came to work for you. I still felt good because I was able to rebuild a lot of relationships
Man.
that I was not nice to.
So they don't even remember the old vow.
I hope not. Let's say I hope not, because
Hey, whenever you encounter your exes now, are they like, who's this?
I know it's you met one at an event one time, but I have a great relationship. My first ex, that's my oldest son's father. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with his wife.
Yeah.
So I'll send them when it's their anniversary. I'll be like, happy anniversary, or birthdays, and they have a daughter as well. So that relationship is fine. And then this past ex, we have a weird relationship.
Yeah.
We're friends, but because of his situation, we're not, like, we can't be friends. So, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
But you know what's so cool about it is that you're almost like like I watch your daughters and I watch your sons, and just the pillar that you are for them is just the most incredible thing. So if I was gonna say if only what would you say? What would you say you felt like for a long time hung over your head that you wished you wouldn't have done, but now you're glad it all happened because of where you are?
Gosh. This is a transparent moment. So towards the end of my marriage, I knew the marriage was over, and I've met someone on Words with Friends. I didn't even know you could chat on Words with Friends.
Me neither. I found out the other day a woman got hit on the Bible app. So I guess you can get hooked up everywhere now.
Yes. So, and the person that I was talking to, he was going through the same thing I was going through. So, broken attracts broken.
Yeah.
And after I left my marriage, and then we just started talking, but he was everything that I wanted. He gave me Bible scriptures. He prayed over me.
That's what the devil does.
Every single thing I could possibly want. But of course, he wasn't mine, because he was still in a relationship as well. And I think it literally took 2 years to break that soul tie.
Man.
And it is so dumb on my part, because I was still going to church, but I didn't want to be a hypocrite, so I quit church.
How many times do we do that?
Yeah, I stopped going to church, and you get out of the word, you give
and
them
you
under
quit
a
coming to
covering.
church because you don't want I mean, Jesus is still seeing it.
But for some reason, you don't go to church, then it's okay. Not that it's okay, but
Yeah,
in
I
my
get it.
mind,
Yes, you don't have to
I
live in that
justify-
condemnation or that
Yes,
conviction.
Exactly. And then it was just like one day, I was like, I cannot do this. Why would you even do this? This is what's been happening to you, with your relationships. And why would you do that? So
Man.
I walked away from it, but it was hard. That was a hard time for me, because I didn't feel good about myself.
Yeah.
I always had rejection growing up, so I was with the weight and the confidence and everything. So all that plays a part in how you think as an adult.
Heck yeah, man.
If you don't get healed.
Yeah.
I just work.
Well, you're shining bright like a diamond now. And it's really cool doing these episodes because it's given me a chance to get to know y'all even better. Like, I've been working with you forever, but your story is making sense to me in some things. It allows me to know areas to make sure you know how valued you are and how appreciated you are, because things carry on throughout our childhood all the way up into our adulthood. And so how many people you touch now because you know what it feels like to be that person that really inevitably turned you into this angry person.
Right.
And how you overcame it. Mm-hmm. And now you're being a whole light to the world. And so, Shaniko, if I was to ask you, what is that one thing, like, if only I ... what can you say? That now you see it benefits you because now you're walking in your gifts.
If only I had not walked away from the church because of a relationship.
But you had to, so that people could understand.
Yeah, but I chose the wrong relationship. I went completely against God. I started dating a woman. I was raised Pentecostal, so I knew that it was wrong, but at the same time, it was what I needed in that moment. It made me feel good. I didn't care either. Like, I was like, accept me or don't accept me with my family, friends, whomever.
So it was shocking to everybody.
Yeah. And I actually came to church before I left, and I brought them with me. And the entire time, I felt like I was naked sitting in the sanctuary. And when I left, I was like, I'm not going back, because I was like, Val, like, yeah, God sees me, but like, if I'm not going and worshiping and serving in his house, then maybe the sin is not as bad.
Shanika, wow.
But I remember, for me, I got broken in that relationship. And when I met them, I was whole. And I knew I was whole.
Jesus.
I had been coming here for a while. I came to it was Church of the Harvest when I came.
Yeah.
And when I came, I was a broken wreck. I would listen to you online, on Instagram, and I remember asking you, are you going to have like a New Year's Eve church service? And you said yes, and you answered me. And I remember coming up to give an offering, and you hugged me, and I was like, well, wow, I thought she was like this big person that you weren't going to be able to touch and what have you. So that night, I was sitting back here in this corner, and I was like, everything that you said, you burned like different words that night, and it hit home. But when I started coming and I left for that time period because of that relationship, I really was running from my gifts.
Yeah.
God would show me things and reveal things.
Yeah.
Me and you talked about it, and I was just like, this is scary, because every time I would say it out of my mouth, I would see it come to fruition.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know that this gift is strong on me, but I don't want this.
Yeah.
Like, can you give me something else? Because I don't want to I don't like what I see. I don't like the depletion that it gives. I was really struggling with my gift.
Yeah.
And I remember calling. I think I sent you a message through Facebook and was like, Pastor Kim, I want to come back to church. Like, I need to come back. And she was like, come. And you never, ever stopped loving me.
Oh, no.
When I came back, I think that was my time of really realizing that church people really don't judge you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up where it felt like you were always being judged.
Well, not
by
our
those
church
things.
anyway.
But with Pastor Kim, she was just like, come back, go back to serving, do what you were doing before you left. Like nothing, like it wasn't
because
like a
that's
sit
what
down.
keeps us accountable. If I let you hide in the back, then you still getting to dance with the devils a little bit.
Yeah.
But if I put you to work, then God's got his hand on your life and keeping you straight.
And then it was the Level Up conference, like I think like the second week after I came back or something. So that was dynamic. But I have to be honest, I went back to the relationship again.
Yeah.
During my illness, because they were there.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell the church I was sick. I didn't say anything. I just left. And then the coronavirus hit, so I had even more time to just be in my mess all over again. But I can honestly say that all of those transitions had to happen.
Had to.
Because I think the pain and the crushing from those things is what pushed me to be where I am now.
Yeah.
I know that I'm stronger. I know that my gifts are strong. I finally came and I was like, Pastor Kim, I got to tell you something, because I need you to know why I keep leaving. Like, I'm running from this gift. Yeah. I don't want it. Like, I don't know what to do with it. I remember talking to Leandria and Jonathan, and they were like, it's not going to go anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
We need you. Like, people are waiting on you. And so I was like,
and I really believe, Shaniko, the reason, and for all of you watching, that a lot of times when you find yourself in a battle like you are, you know, you've been in a battle with flesh and blood. Like you're fighting against that. That I feel like when you have, because you've got a seer, a prophetic anointing on your life, I know that sometimes you're like, man, take this off of me. I don't want it. I just don't want it. But we don't understand that when we really get to a place of surrender and we start really doing what God's called us to do, He equips you. Yeah. But see, right now what we do, so many of us, we got one foot in and one foot out, and the gift is so heavy because we're not all the way in. And so I believe that's why the enemy fights you like he fights you. Yeah. Because there's a call of God on your life that is going to literally bust hell wide open. And so you've walked through sickness, you've had a stroke. I mean, he's been trying to take you out forever. Yeah. And so, you know, when you finally get to a place where y'all surrender and let God do what he wants to do in your life, you're going to be like, man, is it like a Sunday morning? Yes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, the call of God is not hard when you really jump in the river. Yeah. And so that's what it is. I really think that when you just make up in your mind, there's going to be no more of this. I know this is not what I'm supposed to do. And we all always know. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we know when we keep, you know, marrying the same people with different faces. We know that we're the common denominator in certain situations. And so I think when we really surrender and just be like, forgive ourselves. Yeah.
That's the hard part, I think.
It's the hard part.
That's the hard part, because especially when you know, I think that's the hard part. But for me now, I am in a surrenderance.
Yeah,
like
me too.
I have just totally just said, you know what, God, just take me. I don't have anything but you. So I just gotta just fall in your hand and just let you do what you do, and what you started in me, you shall complete it.
Yes.
And so I'm there now. I'm like, I don't want anything else. So, and me even coming to tell you, like, the way that I had to tell you, because I mean, even that's a trip. But I'm glad that I'm in the place that I am, and I'm glad of what God's doing in my life.
And I'm glad you've walked through the stuff you've walked through, because you know our church is a place. I've been criticized. People walked out of our church because I love like Jesus. Yes. And that's what this place is. Limitless is all about, where we allow people to come in the presence of God, and we love you, and we love the God in you, and we love you so much that you eventually are part of the tribe and changing the world. And so, I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. I'm going to love the hell out of people and let God work on their souls just like he's done in yours and mine. You know, I remember, y'all, my dad, I tell this story a lot, of when I moved back in with my mom and dad and I'd lost everything. And I think this is why God uses our church so much, is because we got a whole bunch of us misfits that found Jesus. You know, we hit rock bottom and found the rock at the bottom, which is Jesus. And now we're just like, for Jesus. But I remember I came into my house, I was probably 36, 37 years old, and my kids are there. We've lost everything. And I remember coming in my house drunk. And I was kind of like one of those. I was saved on Sundays, and during the week I was partying, you know. And I've always had an addictive personality. So I mean, up until probably 3 years ago, I would tie one on a Saturday night, you know, just trying to deal with I'm gonna drink a glass of wine, and then I would end up with a bottle. So God did a work through me, but he started it with my dad. When my dad walked up in my bedroom at 37 years old, and I'm drunk, and he said, "Baby, I hope you ain't hungover tomorrow." He said, "Because you're going to get up and lead praise and worship." And I'm like, "Dad, I can't do that. We're going to split the church wide open because of my hellion ways." And he said, "Over my dead body am I losing you. You're going to praise your way through as long as you're under my roof." And that has given me the same type of pastoring skills, where I love like that. And thankfully, you know, God didn't take his hands off of me. And every single time that I've had to grow, even 3 years ago, when God let me hit again and was like, "There's still some stuff in your life that you got to get free from, because I need you to go here and you are stuck here because you won't deal with the demons that you're still dealing with, and you got to deal with it so that I can take you here. And now when I look and I think, God, there's nothing in this world, y'all, like being able to lay in your bed at night and every single thing about you is, if those clouds splitted and the trumpet sounds and we go to heaven, that God's going to look at us three and say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Loving God's people is better than winning the lottery. And so that's what we three get to do now, because we pressed, because we dealt with some things in our lives. And so I want you to look at that camera. I'm so thankful that y'all fought through it all together. Through it all. Y'all know I want to sing now. So listen, I want you to look in that camera, and I want you to talk to that, not to the old Valerie. I want you to talk to the person that feels like the Valerie, maybe the mama that just yells and screams at her kids because she is struggling with being a single mama, or being in a loveless marriage, or fighting a son that's got addiction and she's still trying to handle the rest of her kids and keep it together. Give that woman hope.
I would say Proverbs 3:4-6 has really helped me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways He'll make your direct your path. So that scripture helped me a lot. It helps me today because when I feel like I want to give up, and you say, what does that look like? When I feel like I want to give up, or things get too rough, or if I'm dealing with anything that I feel like I can't handle, I just repeat that over and over, and things will get better. You have to get to the point where you just have to, the things that you can't control, you have to give them to God, and you just continue to pray and move forward. With that, you just continue to pray over your children, and continue to, and even if your heart is hardened, I used to pray every single night, God soften my heart. God soften my heart, because I was numb in church a lot. Not only just numb, but I would feel nothing. And when I prayed that prayer, literally 30 days later, then all of a sudden I became weepy and I'm crying for everything. And then
I remember that.
Yeah, and I'll be sitting,
God, I said make me soften, don't make me cry every day.
And I would find myself just sitting and then just crying, and then I'd be like, well, what are you crying for? But it does help, because now I can empathize with people. Before I didn't care if I hurt your feelings, and now it's like, oh my God, if somebody tells me I hurt their feelings, I am that person, like, oh my God, I'll apologize 1,000 times. I'll send them a text, and I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I keep bringing it up to make sure that they're okay. But it does get better, but you just have to trust God. You just have to keep going and read your Bible.
You can have a meltdown.
Yeah.
But you can't stay down.
Yep.
You're going to go through seasons where you're still got a soul tie with somebody. Somebody's watching today. You got a soul tie with somebody that ain't good for you. And you got to surrender all of that, and you got to say no.
You got to say no.
You got to say no. Even when your flesh wants to do it, you got to say no. I think just a few months ago, the dude reached back out to you. She said no. You got to, the enemy is going to keep pressing, especially when he sees you're right on the heels of glory. You're right on the heels of the best days of your life. He's going to bring that person back in your life that hubba. Say no and fight through it. So I want you to, Shaniko, I want you to look at that person that's fighting with the soul tie.
What I will tell you is, you see the signs.
Come on.
A lot of times we already know that it's not right for us. You feel it. You don't sleep at night. They're sleeping and they're snoring, and you are wondering why you're up. And you're praying for them to stay in your life, knowing that they have already dismissed themselves ahead of time. The first thing is accept it and forgive yourself for staying for as long as you have. And don't make the red flags become a circus. Just go ahead and walk away, because it's easier to just walk away before you have to experience the pain of them breaking your heart, and then you having to deal with that on top of you already knowing what you knew. Because then you have that guilt of, why didn't I leave when I got the first sign? Yeah. You knew what you were doing. You went back for your own pleasures. But if you continue to stay in that place, you're allowing a temporary situation to be fulfilled So God can't place anything in a permanent position because you already got those shoes filled.
Man, that is so powerful. And you know what? I want to really encourage you out there. We have connect groups at Limitless Church where literally we have 60, 70 connect groups all over the world. And I mean, if you've got an addiction to porn, if you've got an addiction to the wrong love, if you're trying to be a side piece, you know God didn't die on no cross for you to be a side chick. Oh, Kurt, get in a connect group every night. It's free to go to Limitlesschurch.live. Get in a connect group. We got men's groups. We got women's group. Valerie, what's the name of your group?
Messy Masterpiece.
Messy Masterpieces. She's talking about people in the Bible that were messy and how God used them to be masterpieces like us three up here that God is using to this day because we got up one more time, right? So get involved. Go get in a group. There's all the groups on Limitlesschurch.live. Get in a connect group. You can be in a connect group. I don't want to hear anybody say, I'm so lonely, because there's no reason for you to be lonely when you can be connected to Limitless Church. There are people that call this church their home that have never walked in this building, but literally do life with us. You can do the plugged in. You can even serve online. Like, we've got a place, the accountability that comes at this house where we love you so much that you end up walking from the pit to the palace. That's what we want to see for you. So, man, I hope that you have enjoyed this entire series. Go to our website, Limitlesschurch.live, or go to YouTube channel. Go to the Limitless Church Fayetteville, or even my Real Talk Kim YouTube. All of the sermons, all of the unfiltered, everything is up for you to watch. You can overdose on it. That's what you need to do if you're coming out of a rocky place or a scary place, is to overdose on Jesus. Get some podcasts in your ears, get some sermons in your ears, and take responsibility for where you are. And then just say no to the things that you know are keeping you from prospering and walking in your destiny. So, man, Shanico, thank you. Thank you for your yes. And I'm excited about your future. I am excited about your destiny. And I'm excited about you walking in your purpose. And listen, don't be scared.
I'm not.
You got this. And thank you so much, Valerie, for, man, being the greatest assistant ever, for being a part of my life, for, man, getting your attitude together. Yes. Hey, me and you both are the same. We're like, girl, we used to be ratchet, now we're righteous. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful that God can do that for you too. So listen, we will see y'all Sunday, 10 and 11:30, right here at Limitless Church. Be a bringer. Share the broadcast if you are watching online. And we love you so much. I'm Pastor Kim. I love you. I believe in you. And we got your back, your side, your tongue, your top, your bottom. We got you. We got you. And we love you. Thank you for being a part of our